Namaskar. A warm welcome to the 73rd episode of Granthyatra. Today I am going to take you to a remote island. Not many people live there. It only has a fortress. It belongs to a strange man called Indrasen Angre. A ship caught in the storm has landed there, and Sir Angre has imprisoned the shipwrecked passengers in the dungeon of the fortress. This is the beginning of the play Kalabet Lal Batti, or The Dark Island and the Red Lamp. This play, which has a very intriguing plot, has been written by the well-known writer, translator, actor and director Madhukar Toradmal. Madhukar Toradmal, fondly called Mama Toradmal, was born in 1932. He originally belonged to Ahmednagar. Since his father died in his childhood, Toradmal accompanied his uncle to Mumbai, where he got his education. Toradmal had a passion for the theatre right from his school days. After completing his college education, Toradmal worked at an automobile factory. Later, he joined a college in Ahmednagar as a professor of English literature. During this period, he acted in several plays and also successfully directed many plays. He then moved to the professional theatre and became quite famous. In all, Toradmal wrote 14 plays. Tarun Turk Mhatare Ark, a farcical play written and directed by him, has been performed more than 5,000 times. His other plays such as Relationships, Goodbye Doctor, Mrugatrishna became very popular. His autobiography is titled Tisri Ghanta, or The Third Bell. He also translated 27 novels of Agatha Christie into Marathi. The play Kalabet Lal Batti was published in 1969. The spectators get a glimpse of Sir Angre's strange nature right in the opening scene of the play, as he casually inquires about the prisoners in his dungeon from his servant. Angre: how are they doing? Vyankya: they are just sitting and blabbering. Confined like prisoners, what else can they do? They have no access to food or water. They scream and yell and curse. They use very bad language against you and me. When they get exhausted, they quarrel amongst themselves like a bunch of crows. When they get tired of that, they sleep in their sitting postures with their necks bent. Angre: good. Vyankya: I think they have been tortured enough. Please allow them to break their fast tomorrow. How long should they go without food unnecessarily? They survived the storm but will die for lack of food and water. Angre: when you wish to make a wild beast do your bidding, you have to stop its access to food and water. There is no other tether like hunger and thirst. Vyankya: but my lord, they are human beings. It's different with animals and different with humans. Angre: humans are also animals, Vyankya. The most violent, dangerous and clever of all animals. Vyankya: yes, but... Angre: release them from the dungeon and bring them to this living room tomorrow morning. I shall meet them tomorrow. Let's see the result of the hunger. Each of the prisoners is a character in himself, a representative of human tendencies. Shastri is a priest at the temple in Vishwanath Puri. He leads the group in pleading with Sir Angre. Bhagwant Arame is an obese person who has never worked in his life. Dashaputre is the owner of a pharmaceutical company. Ranchod is engaged in bulk trading of groceries. Dr. Abjabuddhe is a scientist. Jayashri is a young woman, and both Ranchod and Dashaputre vie with each other to gain her attention. Vachar is an orator and considers himself a born leader. The next day, Sir Angre meets the group in his drawing room. He pretends to be very generous and promises to arrange some refreshments for them. But at the same time, he also reveals a deadly secret. He tells them that he has shot dead the sailor who had safely brought the group of travelers to the island after their ship had sunk. Gradually, the travelers confined to the island realize that they are prisoners of Sir Angre and that their lives depend on his mood. Soon, Sir Angre begins to narrate incidents from his past life to them. His ancestors had buried a treasure on this island, and he has commissioned 2 archaeologists to find that treasure. While describing his lonely life on the island, Sir Angre reveals how he got hooked to the sport of hunting. He tells them that when he had got tired of hunting animals, he had switched to hunting of human beings to experience the thrill of hunting. And then, as if he was inviting them to a sports match, he proposes a game of hunting to the group. Explaining the rules of the game, he tells the group of travelers that one of them would be selected as the game for hunting. He will be allowed to carry a weapon of his choice and will have to step out of the fortress at sunset. Sir Angre will carry an identical weapon and step out to stalk him. If neither of them die until sunrise the next day, the game will end for the day. The next day, another person would be selected as the victim. When it is time to select the first victim for this game, Sir Angre decides to pick the most wicked person from the group. As a result, each person in the group tries to prove their virtue by narrating their good deeds. On this, Sir Angre reacts by saying, "Interesting, interesting indeed. Friends, I had no idea you are all such good people. Else, I would not have suggested this criteria. The fault is totally mine, but no matter. It is not very difficult to mend the way. Let me make a correction in my original suggestion. I had asked you to select the person with most vices, but you all turned out to be virtuous people. All right. Now I shall select the most virtuous among you. Even God loves good people. He will appreciate this sacrifice." This prompts the group to compete with each other to prove that each one of them is not so good after all. Each one strives to narrate their vices. The priest confesses to a murder. The orator reveals that he had misled poor workers into going on a strike. Ranchod narrates how he had illegally stocked grains and dealt in black market. Dashaputra announces that his company had created substandard copies of imported medicines, and scientist Abjabuddhe reveals that his research was for a bomb that would have killed masses. All those who had bragged about their virtuous life a short while ago now begin to exaggerate their sins out of a fear of death. Watching the verbal contest among the travelers, Angre's murderous mentality gets further stimulated. He enjoys watching them fight amongst themselves. He then takes this fight to an altogether different level. He tries to ensure that the fight gets escalated from a verbal duel to a deadly game. Who gets killed in this strange game of hunting? To what extent do the trapped travelers degrade to save their own lives? Do moral values, human rights, and social accountability get totally destroyed because of selfishness and fear of death? To know the answers to these questions, it is best to read this play in the original. Critic Kamlakar Nadkarni has said that Toradmal's writings are greatly influenced by Western literature and films. He wrote plays that convinced and attracted the majority. Nadkarni goes on to say that melodrama, strange plots, and black and white characters were the hallmark of Toradmal's writings. Yet, these very characteristics made his plays popular. Although the plot of Kale Bet Lal Batti may seem to be unrealistic and hyper-imaginative, it can be looked at as a theatre technique. By creating a hyper-imaginative and impossible situation, the writer is trying to highlight human nature and subconscious motivations in this play. The writer effectively portrays how destructive forces, selfishness, and cruelty lie in a dormant form in the minds of even those who look normal on the surface. Toradmal was accused of modifying a foreign short story and converting it into the play Kale Bet Lal Batti. In his autobiography, Toradmal conceded that the seed for the theme of the play was inspired by the tale The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell. काळं बेट लाल बत्ती या नाटकाविषयी आज आपल्याशी बोलताहेत सिंधी, मराठी आणि हिंदी या भाषांमध्ये लिहिणारे प्रसिद्ध लेखक आणि प्राध्यापक लक्ष्मण हरद्वानी. ग्रंथयात्रेच्या व्यासपीठावर आपलं स्वागत. आपण प्रत्यक्ष या नाटकात, हे नाटक जेव्हा सुरुवातीला या नाटकाचे प्रयोग झाले तेव्हा त्याच्यात काम केलं होतं आणि आपण प्राध्यापक तोरडमल यांचे सहकारी देखील होता. तर आपण या नाटकाबद्दलच्या आपल्या आठवणी सांगाव्यात. या नाटकात आपण केव्हा आणि कोणती भूमिका केली आणि या नाटकाला त्या काळात लोकांचा कसा प्रतिसाद मिळाला याविषयी आमच्या प्रेक्षकांना आपल्याकडून ऐकायला आवडेल.
काळे बेट लाल बत्ती हे तोरडमलांचं तिसरं नाटक. साधारणपणे 50-51 वर्षापूर्वी हे नाटक अहमदनगरच्या थिएटर ग्रुप तर्फे सादर करण्यात आलं आणि या नाटकामध्ये माझी एक छोटीशी भूमिका होती, रणछोड दास, एका मारवाडी ग्रस्ताची. आणि मला मराठी त्यावेळेला नीट बोलता येत नसे म्हणून मला छोट्या छोट्या भूमिका त्यांच्या नाटकातून मिळायच्या. हे नाटक महाराष्ट्र राज्य नाट्य स्पर्धेमध्ये पहिलं आलं आणि ते खूप गाजलं. जवळजवळ 200 प्रयोग आम्ही महाराष्ट्रात आणि महाराष्ट्राच्या बाहेरही केले. लोकांचा प्रतिसाद बघून हे नाटक जे आहे ते जिथून निरोप येईल तिथं आम्ही जायचो आणि नाटक करायचो. हे नाटक जे आहे तोरडमलांच्या भूमिकेमुळं आणि इतर पात्रे जी होती त्यांच्या उत्कृष्ट अभिनयामुळे खूप गाजलं. तोरडमलांनी हे नाटक एका इंग्रजी कथेवरून घेतलेलं होतं. द मोस्ट डेंजरस गेम या कथेच्या आधारावर त्यांनी हे नाटक लिहिलं. आणि विशेष म्हणजे नाटकाचा विषय जो होता तो नवीन होता आणि नाटकाचं सादरीकरण जे होतं ते नवीन होतं. प्रस्तुतीकरण नवीन होतं की स्टेजवर फक्त काळा पडदा पाठीमागे होता आणि सगळी पात्रे मग त्याच्या अलीकडे एका स्टूलवर बसून ते बोलायचे. अशा रीतीनं हे जे नाटक आहे त्याची थीम अशी की माणूस हा माणसाचा वैरी आहे. काही माणसानं माणसाला ती मधुकर तोरडमल यांनी समर्थपणे ती तिथं सादर केली आणि या नाटकाला प्रतिसाद मिळाला. प्रेक्षकांना खूप ते नाटक आवडलं. त्याचं कारण नाटकाची जी नाटकाची जी थीम आहे, या विषय जो आहे तो त्यांच्या दृष्टीने नवीन होता आणि त्याही पेक्षा सगळ्या पात्रांचा जो अभिनय होता तो फारच उत्कृष्ट होता. आणि या नाटकाला मी सांगितल्याप्रमाणे राज्य नाट्य स्पर्धेमध्ये अभिनयाचं, दिग्दर्शनाचं आणि सगळ्या प्रकारची बक्षिसं इथे या नाटकाला मिळाली. बाहेर सुद्धा, महाराष्ट्राच्या बाहेर सुद्धा, म्हणजे त्यावेळेला आम्ही हैदराबादला गेलो होतो, बडोद्याला गेलो होतो, तिथं 2-2 प्रयोग केले आणि नाटकाच्या वेळेला लोक यायचे आणि अभिनंदन करायचे आणि आपली प्रतिक्रिया चांगली व्यक्त करायची की आम्हाला नाटक फार आवडलं, तुमचं अभिनंदन.
ग्रंथयात्रेच्या व्यासपीठावर येऊन या नाटकाचे आपले प्रत्यक्ष अनुभव सांगितल्याबद्दल अनेक धन्यवाद. Do read the play काळं बेट लाल बत्ती that introduced a new theme to Marathi theatre. This play, written 53 years ago, is not easily available today, but it is important enough to invest the time and efforts to procure it from a library. We are grateful to Mr. Shrikant Bhattkar for making it available for Granthyatra. We shall meet in the next episode of Granthyatra to explore some ancient events that have had a lasting impression on Indian literature. Until then, keep reading.